1 year ago, I would sit down, give ChatGPT a prompt to write me an 8-minute YouTube script, and as a result, get 0 views. I never thought that a video script really has to be that good, but it does. And so, for 8 months now, I've been writing 3 YouTube scripts per week. Whether it was for my Faceless channel No Than 8, for other big creators, and now for my Talking Head videos. I even counted them up, and in total I wrote 98 scripts. In this time period, I mastered a specific writing framework that I'm now applying to every script. And after you've seen it, you will realize that all the big creators as Alex Hormozi, Iman Gadzhi, or even Mr. Beast use this exact framework. You just never really thought about it. But let's go ahead and get a quick overview of my framework. Alright guys, so this will be more of like a raw video where I just talk about what I know, spread my knowledge and value, and don't expect retention editing or anything like that. We will just go through my whole blueprint and I will show you the exact process. So, the blueprint to master script writing on YouTube. Like I already said, I applied this framework to my first ever video I posted on my Faceless channel No Than 8, and the results were 45,000 views and 4,000 hours of watch time, which is basically enough to monetize your whole channel. If you want, you can check it out. The evidence is right there, but if you watch the videos, you probably won't understand much because the channel is in German. But nonetheless, let's just begin right away with the structure. The structure of my whole framework starts with the package. Then we have the 3-question frame. You will see later in the video what that means. Then the most important part of our video script, the hook. The 4th step is the 3-point way. And the last thing is the CTA, the call to action. So let's begin right away with the packaging. The packaging is the first thing you do. You do this before even starting with the writing itself, because the packaging is the reason the people will even click on your video and see your script, or at least hear it. So the packaging begins with the title. Before even starting with the writing, you have to find a good title, because this will set the expectation for your video. The same goes for the thumbnail. But never just put the title into the thumbnail, because this will just lower the curiosity. The title and thumbnail need to build off one another. Never just put the title into the thumbnail with just some random image, because this will lower the percentage of the people that will click on your video and watch it. Because you have to understand, if they build off one another, people have 2 reasons to click on your video. Either they like the thumbnail, or they like the title, or they just like both. So, 2 reasons to click for them, not just one. The 3rd step of our packaging are our 3 possible questions. So you pick 3 questions the viewers could ask when seeing the title and thumbnail, and you will answer them in your script, or more specifically in your intro. I picked some questions as examples so you understand what I mean. I just picked 3 thumbnails plus titles from Iman Gadzhi, and for example, you will see them. The questions that will come up are: what is the exact method he will talk about? What is the exact method here? Do this if you're young and broke. Do what? This is how to make passive income. So which method will he show us? Best ways to make $10,000 per month in 2023. Again, which methods will he show us in this video? This is the first question that will just come up. The second question is, can I do this too? Can I also make passive income in 2023? Will the method he will talk about also apply to me and my situation in life? Same goes for here. Will all the ways to make 10k per month will work for me, or just 1 or 2? These are just the questions that will come up when you see the title and the thumbnail. A 3rd question is there an easy step-by-step process that I can follow? Because most people like a step-by-step process, so they know exactly what to do and don't have a lot to find out by themselves. So and what you will do for your script is you will do the same. First you will do the packaging, and then you will write out 3 questions that will for sure come up when people see your title and thumbnail. So, and what you will do, you write these down, and we go over to our next step. And let's first talk about the 3 types of hooks. So, our hook is the most important part of our script. It determines if the viewer will watch your video or just click through it. Because let's say your packaging is good, the expectation is set, people will click on your thumbnail, but if your hook misses, most people will just click off. And remember, if you only counts as a view if the video gets watched for 13 seconds. So, if you want as much views, make the hook as good as possible. And believe me, if the hook is great, if you have a 10 out of 10 hook, people will watch the video at least until the half. And if you spread good content and good value, they will watch it to the end. And don't forget, watch time is the most important metric on YouTube, with the CTR. So, the 3 types of hooks we can always choose from that work always are the statement hook. So you just start off with a statement. I made 23,000 last month with dropshipping, something like that. A story hook is, for example, the same that I began this video with. I talked about how I just would sit down and give ChatGPT a prompt and it will write any script for me. And it will be bad. This is story hook. Or you can also do a question hook, so you start right off away with a question to your viewers. And if it's a good question, they just will be hooked. What you can do, pick the right one depending on your video. You can write 3 hooks out, so from each kind one, and you'll just pick the best one. So, what is the purpose of a good hook? Like I already said, a hook has to fulfill the expectation that your title and thumbnail sets. People have an expectation when going into your video, and your intro has to exceed them, otherwise people will click directly off. And it is really the most important aspect of your hook and your video itself. So what has to be included in a good intro? What is the basic structure? You have to have a credibility line. You have to include this so people know that they can trust you. One sentence is oftentimes perfectly fine. Because you have to understand, people just have to know they have to trust you, but they don't really give a shit about the rest of your story. So just one sentence and that's enough. I did the same in this intro by saying that I wrote 3 scripts per week for the last 8 months. So, and that's basically it. Then you have the setup. For the setup, you will use the 3 previous questions and make sure that you will answer them in your video. So we mentioned all the 3 questions that could come up that we wrote down beforehand, and we will state in our intro that we will answer them in our video. So the viewer knows directly, alright, my expectations get exceeded in this video, and they will watch further. The last step is we have to include these 3 factors. So your target audience, who are you talking to? What is the desired transformation? So your transformation for this video is going from writing bad scripts or writing ChatGPT scripts to writing your own good scripts by using this framework, and what's at stake. So basically how much time and effort you have to put in, and basically what can you lose. In this case, not too much. You have to put a bit time and effort in to genuinely write good scripts, but you have a framework now which is perfectly fine. I have here an intro example from Iman Gadzhi, and we can analyze his whole process and how he structures his hooks, exactly like I've mentioned. So the target audience marked yellow, the desired transformation green, what's at stake orange, and our 3 previous questions in blue. So he starts directly off with you're young, you're ambitious. His target audience, young people. And you want to make it big early in your life. I think this video was talking about the best ways to make 10 grand per month. So the desired transformation of the viewers to make 10 grand a month at a young age. Then, so in today's video I'm going to reveal the 7 principles for teenagers and people in their early 20s to become millionaires. Here he answers if there's a step-by-step process. It basically is. He has the 7 principles. And what were the other questions? Can I do this too? And what is the exact method he will talk about? So the exact method, he has 7 principles. And if you can do this too is get answered also. He talks about people in the early 20s and teenagers. So everyone who clicked on it has the 3 questions answered directly in the first 3 sentences and knows if he can do this too and if there's an easy step-by-step process that you can follow. Now, I made my first $1 million at 18 years old, and no matter what you see on TikTok, I want to know that that is not normal. Here is our credibility sentence. So, the credibility line, he says, he made his first $1 million at 18 years old. People know they can trust him. Of course, we all know Iman Gadzhi, but still, he uses a credibility line to remind people who he is, that he's made it himself, and that people can trust him. Then, what's at stake? I want you to know that it is not normal. So he says that it's still quite hard to make 10 grand per month in the early 20s or as teenagers. So this is what's at stake. It is not easy, and he says this also directly in the intro. It is not normal in any shape or fashion, but it is because I followed these 7 principles. Again, the step-by-step process you will go through. Then, make my first $1 million at 18 years old. Again, the credibility line. And he finishes with credibility. I mean, it's Iman. It has helped me to amass a net worth of tens of millions of dollars by the age of 23. And that's basically it. He has everything involved that we discussed. So, the credibility line, the setup, he answers the 3 questions directly in the intro and says that he will answer them in the rest of the video. And he includes the 3 factors, so the target audience, their desired transformation, and what's at stake. Let's go to step 4, the 3-point way. This is basically how the body will be structured. And the basic structure for that is you choose 3 problems. And then you ask yourself, what story could you tell to make your point? Write a hook to that story, and then tell the story, how you solve these problems. And that's basically it. So for the body, you don't always have to have a big structure. This is like the basic structure. So 3 problems and 3 solutions you found to these problems. And that's basically it. Just apply this to all 3 points. Just go into the writing flow, talk from your personal experience, because this is just the best way. And then you also won't have a big writing block or anything like that. And then you can just tell the stories you went through without big writing blocks. So just write what you know and how you would talk in the video later on. For the script, you can basically use the 80-20 framework. So 80% of your effort writing the script goes into the hook and 20% goes into the rest of the script. I know this maybe sounds a bit weird, but the hook is the most important part. For the rest, you can just write. You don't have to really stress yourself and just write. Just write how you would do it. Because if people know you will answer what you promised, they will watch, trust me. Just be yourself, spread your value, your knowledge, and people will watch to the end. And our last step is the call to action, the outro. There you could again focus a bit more, or at least put a bit more effort in. But what you want to do is, for the outro, you write a hook, bold statement, or question. With that, you want to set up a problem that the viewer still has after watching your video. For example, what I could do for this video, now I've solved your problem, and you now know how to write good scripts. But you maybe don't know how to record properly. I don't have a video on recording, but I could make a call to action where I say, now you've mastered script writing, but you don't know how to record and which setup to buy, then just check out this video on the top. I could do just like that. You have a new problem and you need a solution for that. So we set up a problem that the viewer still has, and we point to another one of our videos in which we solve exactly the new problem we just created. Or you could also lead to your service or your product, anything that just solves the problem you just created for the viewer. And that's basically it. That's the whole framework. I think I will put the whole doc into the bio of this video. So I hope you've enjoyed it and liked this video. I know it's not the typical retention stuff, but if you're a coach or an agency and don't have the time to make YouTube videos or write scripts by yourself, then just click on the link in the bio and get a call with our team, and we can see how we can help you. And for everyone else, just leave a follow to see more videos like that.